Thanks, Hannah. Welcome to this week's episode of Duck TV Sports. I'm Jillian Smuckler.
And I'm Stacy Cumming. Pac-12 championship previews, relays, and upcoming tournaments are just the beginning of this week's episode.
We have a lot to discuss today, including the long-awaited Oregon football spring game, so let's get started. The Oregon Ducks baseball team will host the Arizona State Sun Devils this upcoming weekend in a 3-game series starting Friday. Oregon just finished up a rough series against the Stanford Cardinal, losing the series 3-0 at PK Park. The Cardinal are ranked 5th in the Pac-12 and haven't won a series at Oregon since 2009. The Ducks were unable to complete a comeback in all 3 games in the series.
Oregon softball looks to end its losing woes against in-state rival Oregon State this weekend at Jane Sanders Stadium. The Ducks are coming off 3 straight Pac-12 series losses, most recently to the University of Arizona. The Wildcats took the series, winning the first 2 games, but lost to the Ducks on Sunday 4-3. Oregon ranks 3rd in the Pac-12, so the upcoming series against 7th-ranked Oregon State could be the cure the Ducks need to get back to winning after starting the season 35-0.
The Oregon football spring game might be a little different this year compared to past years, thanks to new head coach Willie Taggart. Taggart and his coaching staff have brought a new atmosphere and chemistry between the team and coaches. This was clear on the first day of practice.
The energy that they bring to practice and the confidence that they instill in us, and they're just letting us play. I mean, right now we're learning a bunch of new stuff, but it's good to see their excitement in us and their faith in us, and hopefully we can just come out here this year and put on a show.
The spring game will consist of 2 teams, Team Free and Team Brave. The draft for these teams were released this past Saturday, and this year the coaches have to convince players to join their spring team, and of course, players have to earn the spot to play in the game. Speaking of the spring game, Kara Fagan has the position battles to look out for on Saturday. Take it away, Kara.
As the spring game is approaching this Saturday, there will be different position battles to look out for. But for this week's triple threat, I will be highlighting the position battles at quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker. Let's start with the man under center, the quarterbacks. Last season, Justin Herbert recorded 1,936 yards and scored a total of 19 touchdowns. Herbert showed he was an elite pure passer last season, breaking the school record for passing yards in a game. Even though Herbert is still expected to be a starter when the season comes around, Travis Johnson has been the one standing out during practice and has improved greatly since last year. Head coach Willie Taggart has currently placed Johnson first on the depth chart for quarterback, but that can and will likely change throughout the rest of spring ball. Unlike Herbert, Johnson is a much more mobile quarterback with the ability to run under pressure, something Taggart has shown to appreciate during his time at USF and Western Kentucky in his option-heavy scheme. Now let's take a closer look at Malik Levitt and Dylan Mitchell for the battle at wide receiver. They will be battling for the 3rd wide receiver position since Charles Nelson and Darren Carrington are expected to start. Levitt lined up at cornerback last season, but he made the switch from defense to offense. It was difficult for him at the beginning of the spring since he hasn't played wideout since high school, but he looks like he is improving. On the other hand, we have Mitchell, who is a redshirt sophomore and had an impressive performance in last year's spring game, scoring 2 touchdowns and absolutely humiliating cornerback Ugo Amadi in the process. Switching over to defense, we have Kaulana Epelu and Jonah Moy, who are battling at linebacker. Last season, Epelu finished with 28 tackles, 20 solo, and 1 forced fumble. Even though Epelu is not the tallest and biggest linebacker on the field, he makes up for it with his energy and speed. Then we have Jonah Moy, who recorded 18 tackles in 10 games last year. Unlike Epelu, Moy is 6'4" and 240 pounds, which makes him the powerhouse at the front 7 for the Oregon defense. Well, that wraps it up for this week's triple threat. Check out these position battles Saturday at 11. I'm Kara Fagan, and now tossing it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kara. I certainly am eagerly anticipating the team's debut, new uniforms or not. Oregon Track and Field will travel to Philadelphia on Thursday to compete in the Penn Relays and in Corvallis for the Oregon State High Performance. The team is hoping to extend their outstanding start to the outdoor season. This past week, the women broke 2 collegiate records at the Mount Sac Relays in Los Angeles.
Crossing over sports, Ducks lacrosse will head to Los Angeles, taking on the San Diego State Aztecs in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation tournament this upcoming weekend. The Ducks won 19-11 and finished the regular season above 500 in the conference and overall. The Ducks are locked into the number 4 seed in the tournament.
The Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling team's regular season has come to a close, and they'll travel down to California on Thursday to kick off the NCATA National Championship. Oregon has received the top seed in the tournament and is looking to bring home their 5th national title. The team will first face King University. The Ducks are favorites to face Baylor Bears for their 3rd consecutive year in the title match. The Bears have won the past 2 championships and were the only team to hand the Ducks a loss this season.
After finishing the best regular season in program history, Oregon men's tennis will compete in the Pac-12 championships, which begin on Wednesday in Ojai, California. The Ducks will have a first-round bye after winning on Saturday against the Stanford Cardinal. On the season, the Ducks were 18-5 and 4-3 in the Pac-12. They finished the season with a pair of wins over ranked teams after beating 15th-ranked Stanford last Sunday. Oregons will face off against the winner of the match between number 5 seed Stanford and number 8 seed Arizona on Thursday.
The Ducks men's golf team will head to the Pac-12 championships in Boulder, Colorado, beginning on Friday. The number 9 ranked Ducks closed out their strong regular season, never finishing lower than 5th. At the U of O Student Rec Center, Macy Highland tells us about a new exercising fad.
You've probably heard of Top 40 or Zumba at the Rec Center, but there's a new Group X class that's drumming up a lot of attendance, and it's called Pound. Participants are invited to pound it out by hitting their ripsticks into the mat to some party tunes while getting a total body workout. You might just expect an arm workout from a drumming class, but instructors Brooke Sabin and Ryan Samuels say they've noticed changes all over their bodies since taking and teaching Pound.
My quadriceps and my glutes have gotten so much stronger. Flexibility in general too, because we're doing all these movements that require mobility and flexibility. So just continuously doing that every week has really improved.
So with Pound and the movements that we do in our classes allow us to open our hips a lot more, and now I can touch the ground and stretch and touch my toes, and before I was unable to do that.
You go in there, you're striking the ground extremely hard because you're just getting all your anger and your stress and everything that the week brings and just slamming it out. We all come in together and we're all rocking out together, and same with every group exercise class, but Pound especially is just, I don't know, because we hit together, it's awesome because you just feel like you're one big group.
The copyrighted workout has been around globally for about 4.5 years, but the University of Oregon has been holding classes for almost 2 years now. Classes have been filling up quickly, so hopeful participants are encouraged to arrive early if they have any chance of getting a spot. From the UO Rec Center, reporting for Duck TV Sports, I'm Macy Highland.
That's all we have time for today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
And check out our website and follow us on Twitter for more Oregon sports coverage. That's it for the Sportscast. I'm Jillian Smuckler.
And I'm Stacy Cumming. Back to Wendy at the news desk.